When your cat's meowing just won't stop, it can stop you right in your tracks. Whether we're talking about your typically shy and quiet pet, or the cat that loves to talk at most every opportunity. As a loving owner, you know when something just isn't right, and when something is just not normal. The first potential cause involves your cat's health. Your pet is in pain, and their vocals are either a direct result of that discomfort, a situation where your pet is no longer able to hide their pain, or the meows are designed to get your direct attention, to let you know that they're just not feeling well, and they need your help. While the root cause or causes can certainly be wide-ranging, from the minor to the major, your cat's meows are not only much more excessive, but also a lot louder, a stark change in pitch and tone, then it's certainly time to be proactive. Don't waste time. If you can take your cat to the vet within the first hour, if not sooner, do so. Never wait around for hours or days for your pet to get better. If your cat is meowing and you suspect a health concern is the problem, take action immediately. Additionally, most cats, if a health concern is the reason for the intense vocals, other actions will be present. Lethargy, lack of interest in food and water consumption, a disconnect from you, the desire to be left alone, perhaps even going off to a random part of your home, a place your pet rarely, if ever, goes, in order to be sheltered and have more peace and quiet. Your cat's meows are accompanied by some rather unpleasant actions, things that go against the norm. This is yet another reason to seek professional care for your pet as soon as possible. Another potential reason for your cat's excessive meowing could involve some degree of stress. If your cat is anxious, more anxiety than they can tolerate, they could be allowing their voice to tell the story. If the issue is not a health matter, but perhaps stress caused by a change in the environment, your pet will definitely let you know. If they're uncomfortable, not in pain, just unsettled and perhaps annoyed, excessive meowing, well, it won't be uncommon. Now, like a health matter, the root causes, the potential causes, they could be wide-ranging. Something new in the home, new furniture, new pets. The routine has changed because perhaps you are now working new hours at your job. The objective is to find the cause. This will not only quell that meowing, but hopefully restore your cat to a content state of being and return things to that happy status quo. I often speak on the channel about making sure your pet's essential needs are always being met. Another reason for your cat's excessive meowing, well, it could be due to the fact that some of those basics have fallen behind in that priority order. Fresh food, fresh water, a clean litter box, quality bedding, all the basics. If something is amiss, your cat could be using their voice to let you know about it. Now, your cat could be contrary or greedy in that moment, wanting more food even though they just finished a meal 30 minutes earlier. However, make sure that is indeed the case, rather than your pet's excessive meows being due to an honest reason and an honest need. In the grand scheme of things, when matched with the other alternatives that I've mentioned here today, if your pet is meowing a lot, this next one, that's the one you're hoping for, and that's attention. They want your attention. They want a petting session. They want to nap next to you on the sofa, and for that to happen, you need to be seated on the sofa. Perhaps they want some playtime with you. Your pet is quite fond of you, and those excessive vocals could be your cue to spend more time with them because they simply can't get enough of the affection that you give them. In the big picture, in the grand scheme of things, having your cat desire to be closer to you, well, that's certainly not a bad thing. Similar in some respects to your pet's cries for attention, another reason for frequent meowing could be due to absolute boredom. Not necessarily the desire for your personal attention, but rather just something to do in general. If your cat doesn't have an outlet, say a scratching post or a cat tree, for example, something they can safely engage in and engage with when you're not around, a young and active feline will get that itch for more. They'll want more. And if there's just nothing to do within reason, there's a fair chance your cat will talk to you all about it. And being that we are Senior Cat Wellness, it's impossible to speak about frequent and excessive meowing without talking about old age. If your feline is living in those golden years, there's a chance they could be much, much more vocal, even if they spent most of their entire life, adult life, seemingly picking and choosing when to chime in about things. Going back to potential health concerns, Old age can introduce issues that your pet could find extremely frustrating, and perhaps even scary at times. Not hearing the way they once did, vision, not as sharp as it used to be, confusion. The normal routine is something they can't seem to recall anymore. Not unlike humans, Father Time can introduce some rather unfortunate concerns. Often common concerns, but unfortunate nonetheless. Unlike meowing out of pain, in this example, there is no pain per se, but more of frustration and uncertainty. And the final potential reason for your cat's excessive meowing could be born from mating season. If your pet is actively seeking a mate, they'll be telling the world about it. These meows are commonly much louder and certainly more frequent compared to your cat's normal vocalizations. If your pet seems on edge and unable to settle down and has a constant desire to go outside and roam the neighborhood, your pet could be looking for a partner. If the excessive meowing has been going on for weeks and your pet seems fine otherwise, breeding season could very much be the root cause. Be sure to spay and neuter your felines if you'd like to have a more relaxed pet, and certainly a far less vocal one throughout the calendar year. If you have multiple cats in the home, multiple cats under your roof, unless introducing kittens into the home is very much part of your plan, it then becomes essential to make sure that your pets are fixed. You don't want the male chasing the female around your home for the purpose of mating if expanding your feline family is not something that you're willing to entertain moving forward in your personal ownership journey. Now that we've covered some of the notables behind frequent meowing, loud and excessive meowing, let's talk about your responsibilities as an owner, somewhat of a summary. First off, it's all about being proactive and keen to the little things. The meow is more than a sound. Think of it as a call to action. Something is going on that's outside of the normal. So, what is it? Never sit back and wait for that meowing to stop. Never dismiss it, especially if you know that something is different and something seems off. It's different for a reason. So let's find out just exactly what's going on. If health issues have been ruled out by a professional, then what? What happens if the meowing continues? If this is in fact the case, I would advise that you take stock of your cat's living space. What's the difference? Look for all the small things. Does your cat have enough positive things to do when you're outside of the home? Do they need more toys? Do they need more food and water? Here again, it's all about taking stock. Start with the basics, those essentials, the essential needs, and then work your way out from there. And keep that daily routine. You could come to find that your cat is meowing because the structure has changed or fallen off a bit, and your cat wants it back. To the wonderful audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what's your take on today's subject? Those general thoughts about the topic and those personal stories. That comment section, as always, it's all yours. Thank you so much for watching, and we will talk to you later.